UEFA Champions League is back in action. Brace yourself for thrilling roller coaster of football frenzy where legends are made and dreams are shattered. The UEFA Champions League is here to rock our football-loving souls. No Lionel Messi, there's no Cristiano Ronaldo, there's no Neymar, and there is no Ibrahimovic. But trust the UEFA Champions League can never be short of stars, whose lights keep brightening our views every midweek. The shinies will always continue. It's a journey of records waiting to be shattered. It's a chance for stars like Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland to shine and rewrite the record books with surprises and epic battles on the horizon. As Chelsea and Liverpool takes a breather this year, Arsenal are back to the pitch to set it ablaze on those magical Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. Will Manchester City defend their title, or will Real Madrid win a 15th title? Get ready for the ultimate showdown as the 32 best teams in Europe fight for the glorious trophy known as the Big Years. Let's dive into the action and embrace the football madness. It's time to witness the ultimate battle for glory on the grandest stage of them all. Let the game begin, cause tonight the road to Wembley begins. My name is Adeyemi Segun, and I'll be your host for today's edition of our watch along of the UEFA Champions League. And I'm not alone in the studio. I have my regular guys talking about Solomon and Yemite. It's the UEFA Champions League, the biggest and the best football club competition around the world.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, your club is not yet. Is not in this competition this year. Yeah. But Solomon has his own, side chick team. He has side chick team tonight playing in the Champions League. And from our screens, we can see Barcelona are 3 goals up against Antwerp. Very early into the game, 27 minutes already, it's Barcelona 3, Antwerp 0. And you can see the new boys, the Barcelona boys are back this year, firing against all cylinders. But let my guys introduce themselves first.
Yes, we've been waiting for the Champions League to begin, and here it is, right before our before. We call it right before our before. We are watching it live. What a moment is going to be, what the excitement is going to be. And I'm very sure most football lovers have been waiting for this moment, and here we are. And you can see the big stage. You can see Manchester City and you can see Barcelona. Barcelona already thrilling. They started in a very good note with the combination. We are seeing beautiful combination for Barcelona from João Felix and Lewandowski that gave them. I think Lewandowski scored one. Rafinha scored the third one, and Lewandowski scored, and João Felix scored, and Rafinha also scored. We see good combination, and we expect to see more. A lot of revelation we are expecting this Champions League.
Yeah, a lot of revelation we expect in the Champions League, and that's what you get when you play on the Tuesday and Wednesdays under the lights. And don't forget, we had the first game already. Talking about the game between AC Milan and Newcastle ended 0-0, while Young Boys lost 1-3 against RB Leipzig. That game was played at 5:30 p.m. today. That's 5:30 Nigerian time. Oh, yeah, mate. I can see you're not looking very much happy, though. Chelsea's not there. So, but there should be less pressure for you this season.
No, it's not actually about the mood. It's a wet day in Lagos, Nigeria. So we are just here trying to, let off some cold. Let the football warm us up. And what other way than the biggest club competition in the world, where we have been starved of it for a few months now, and it's a good thing that it's now coming to water our appetite, and we can't just wait. The argument, a Champions League without Messi and Ronaldo, the first time in 20 years, and let's just get right into it and see. Because now there's an opportunity to make new legends, new heroes has to rise to the occasion, and we can't wait to see the next person that will announce themselves on the bigger stage.
Okay, that's what you get when you play in the Champions League. Don't forget, this is Premier Sport Fan Center. You can also subscribe. You have to please subscribe to our channel. And also, we are welcoming all our viewers to this Watch Along program on straight away to different centers in Europe where the games are being played. 25 minutes in various centers. From the game between Feyenoord and Celtic, it's 0-0 in 25 minutes. Lazio and Atletico Madrid are also playing 0-0, and that game is on the Group E. In Group F, we have PSG against Dortmund, 26 minutes already. That game is 0-0. And in Group G, we have Manchester City against Crvena is 0-0. And that will be one of our focal match tonight. Barcelona against Real Antwerp is 3-0 in favor of Barcelona. And it's goal galore in Group H as Shakhtar Donetsk are losing 1-2 against Porto. That game is also in the 27th minute. And back to the game between Manchester City and Zvezda, who Manchester City are the defending champion. Straight to you guys, do you see Manchester City, defending this title this season, or is it going to be new winner again?
As far as I'm concerned, I think they are the team to beat. If you look at the squad, on all centers, they have at least 2 players. Even some areas, they have 3 for a particular role in the team. And it's not as if the gap between the 2 players that are for each wing are that far from each other. The quality on their bench can win games, even against some particular teams. And when you have a team like that, a squad that lost Rondogan, and they are still flying on all cylinders. So you can't take it away from Man City. They are the team to beat. And I still see them going far in this Champions League. And I think it will take a brilliant team to stop them not defending their title.
Okay, it's going to take a brilliant team to defend Manchester United or stop Manchester City from winning the title. And we can see Erling Haaland, who's looking very much frustrated, yet to settle into this game. It's 27th minute in the game between Manchester City and Antwerp already. Crvena already in that game. Fantastic nodder there from Erling Haaland. That is what it brings to the game. But the woodwork was there to rescue Crvena there. Now let's go straight to the starting 11. Pep Guardiola comes into this game with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Crvena coach talking about Barak Bakio is playing a 5-3-2 formation. I want you guys to dissect this formation. What do you think of this formation?
When you talk about Guardiola, he's a tactician and remain one of the best coach in the world. Even though a lot of people are still waiting for the confirmation. But he's one of the best coach in the world. If you look at the way he twists tactics...
Is there any confirmation anybody's still waiting for?
Yeah, of course. We're waiting for that confirmation yet. But to me, personally, I know he's one of the best coaches in the world. Okay, look at the twist he brought down. Today, no Doku. Today, no Grealish. What did he do? He bring in the Foden, in the left wing, and put Alvarez behind Haaland. You understand what I'm saying? Then Bernardo Silva coming from the right side. He's a tactician. He knows how to arrange it, and that is one of the reasons why I still want to say, okay, for the brilliance of Guardiola, Man City look good to win the Champions League, but because other teams are waking up, it's going to be difficult for them to win it.
Okay, you can hear that from Solomon. It's going to be very difficult for other teams to win it. I'm straight to you. Yeah, my 4-2-3-1 formation against 5-3-2 formation. What do you think Crvena actually bringing to this game? It's looking like they're coming here to defend against Manchester City. Do you see it working against Pep Guardiola's two-third team?
Yeah, whenever you see a team play 8 men behind the ball, it means one thing: they want to defend. And you can understand, because if you open your team up to goals against Man City, you will be pummeled, you will be whitewashed. So you have to have some defensive consciousness for you to be able to, at least, even if you will lose decently. Because this is a competition whereby goals matters. Whenever the point goes the same, the next thing is to check the goals. So they really don't want to concede. And to the Manchester City setup, when you see that they play, the 4-2-3-1 formation is one of those formations that Guardiola likes, because he helps a team, especially a free-flowing football team, to express themselves. They can open up, play through the wings, or come in from the...
That's a chance for Crvena there. Let's see, would that be the first goal? But Ederson was there to block that, but that is still be played with around Manchester City defense. But Manchester City were able to clear their lines right now, and they're going to turn defense into attack right now. And that is Foden on the ball. That's what they're going to make out of this. It clears and makes out opportunities. 2 against 4. Let's see, but Crvena were able to clear their lines right now. But still Manchester City, who are controlling and dominating play very late into the first half. It's 30 minutes already. We've seen 30 minutes of action already in this game. And there's a player right there on his field. And it's going to be, the referee will be going towards the player to check what is happening. Back to you, Yemi. You can finish it up.
Now, so when you now see Man City play a 4-2-3-1 formation, and you know that in modern day football, the right wing backs and the left wing back are the owners of the wings. So that gives them more player to pressure in the attack. So when the left back goes to the wing, the winger that was supposed to there will join the attack and come into the box 18. And that creates more pressure for them, more bodies up front. And it's just a formation, depending on your pattern of play, that you can really, really attack a lot with it. And I expect Man City to at least win this one easily.
Okay, the expectation on everybody's feet, on everybody's lips is Manchester City winning this comfortably. Oh, sorry. Straight to the starting 11. Manchester City starts with Ederson in goal post today. Kyle Walker is the captain and is at the start in right back. Ruben Dias and Nathan Ake are the favorite central back pairing, while Sergio Gomez starts at left back. In midfield, we have Rodri and Matheus Nunes pairing together in the defensive midfield, while up front we have Phil Jones, Julian Alvarez, and Bernardo Silva, while there's a one-man up front talking about the prolific Erling Haaland. He starts forward as a low-man striker for Manchester City. Let's go straight to Crvena's starting 11. They start with Omri Glazer in goal post. There's Mijailovic, who starts as right back. There's a three-man pairing of Giga, Dragovic, Mitrovic, and in left back they have Rodic. In midfield they start with Ivanic, Stamenic, and Imboy Wang. While up front they have Osman Bukhari and Sheriff Ndiaye. Looking at the starting 11 of Manchester City, you know, there's one thing we do talk about Manchester City. Even when they don't have the best players, they still bring that pressure. They still come into games looking, you know, very good and looking like the what's it called, the favorite to win the games. Yes. Julian Alvarez has been playing as an attacking midfielder for them in the absence of what's it called, Kevin De Bruyne. Do you think he has actually deputized well for Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of credit has to go to the young lad because he's still very young. He's still in his early 20s and he's playing more like an established player. Because for you to switch role, it's one thing for you to play your natural role. It's one thing for you to switch to a different role with more responsibility and you come in as if it is a natural role for you. Because he has been interpreting that role in a very sweet way, and you have to give it to him. He deserves a lot of credit, though not up to the level of De Bruyne, but he is way very good there. They have to start thinking of a time where De Bruyne will go and making it his permanent role if he will agree. Because, you know, players like Mbappe that said they don't want to play, now it might insist that. And that was a chance for Manchester City. They're into the box of Crvena there, but they chose to go outside. Let's see if that will be a straight shot against the goalpost, but still Manchester City were threatening with this very first goal. But Haaland skied that high, and it will be Manchester City first goal. If not, everybody knows if there'll be a goal in this game, if there'll be a first goal, if there'll be a player that will threaten the goalpost of Crvena, it certainly have to be Erling Haaland. You don't not really see much of him, you know, he's looking more frustrated when the goals are not coming in. Erling Haaland is always looking frustrated. Yeah, he has been wasteful this first half. He has lost some clinical chances that the normal Erling Haaland should be scoring those goals. He needs to wake up because this kind of game can be like banana peel. When you keep wasting your chances and the opponent gets one attack and just score the goal, it might be a terrible result at the end of the day. Wow. So they really need to start taking their chances. Okay, there's a need to start taking your chances, and don't forget you can be a part of this conversation by dropping your comment in the live chat. We promise to read that out. You can also drop your match prediction in the live chat. We'll also read that out on the program. Straight to the game. Match Barcelona against Antwerp is still 3-0 in 36 minutes. Barcelona leading at home. Talking at playing in the Spanish. Barcelona are 3 goals up right now in the first half, while Manchester City are still looking for the first goal against Crvena in Manchester Stadium. At Etihad Stadium, sorry. 34 minutes in that encounter, approaching 35 minutes to Manchester City. You know, dominated play and still doing everything possible to open up the Crvena defense, but it has really been hard. And you know, that's one thing that comes when you play against big teams like Manchester City. The opponents are always trying to defend as deep as possible. And, you know, it's always a problem for teams like Manchester City when you play for 90 minutes and you find it hard to score. Yeah, but, you know, despite the fact that Manchester City, they are high attacking side, they are also defensive in nature because
you don't score Manchester City more than 3
And that's the fantastic chance for Manchester City with this being the first goal in the Manchester City game. Oh, but that's what's not going to be. It's a time for a shot, but another skying shot there from Foden. And finally, that's Sergio Gomez there. And finally, the Crvena defenders will be able to have a fresh breath there. As that was a good threatening chance. That was a good chance for Manchester City, and that will have been, one of the very best chances to actually open the scoring. Yemi, looking at the number of chances Manchester City have been missing in this game, won't it just be one of those games that you lose a lot of chances, and at the end of the day, you finally play a full-time draw or lose it against all odds?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, because hey, in football, there's a wave the football matches go with sometimes, whereby when you keep losing chances, it takes a toll on you. Your confidence level starts dropping. Now, when you now concede another goal on it, you need a good tactician to really do something to tweak things, because these guys are creating chances. The chances are there to see, but they are not taking them. So they really need to start taking their chances, because it can be really, really costly. And Crvena has, over the years, has shown a team that they can score. And if they score you one, oh, trust me, they can play 10 men behind the ball.
Okay, you hear that? You really have to take your chances and score. That is what actually make a game of football. It's the Manchester City who are dominating play in the 35th minute of that encounter. They are still looking for the first goal in this first half. And let's see if they'll be able to get that goal. It's very much important for Pep Guardiola and his boys, because that will motivate them going into the next game, as they'll be looking forward to actually defend their title this season. Is an opportunity from the left side, and still Manchester City who are still dominating play with the ball. Crvena doing all the defending with all their life. And let's see if they'll be able to keep that on to the end of the first half. Straight to Barcelona, talking about a team who has taken their chances. 3 goals in the first half. All their 3-man strikers, the 3-man up front, have scored a goal each in this game. And João Felix have been able to get 2 assists in this game. Goal. Okay, that was actually given as an own goal, but that was coming from Rafinha. And let's go straight to to Barcelona starting 11. They start with their favorite 4-3-3 formation. Marc-Andre ter Stegen is in goal post and is the captain of the Barcelona side today. João Cancelo, the signing from Manchester City, starts today as the right back. Just Conde is back in Central Park, pairing with Andres Christensen tonight. Alejandro Balde starts as left back. In midfield, they have a trio of Gavi, Frankie de Jong, and Ike Gundogan, while up front they have João Felix, Robert Lewandowski, and Rafinha. And it's 3-0 in that encounter for Barcelona. They're currently leading in the 37th minute, and it's 3-0 in first half. Good result for Barcelona, no doubt.
Yeah, fantastic. What other way than score your opponent very early? Send them back as far back as possible. And you can just take the rest of the match as a novelty play, and you just enjoy the remainder of the game.
One thing we have to give to Barcelona this season, they've actually picked up form. If you look at it, after their draw against Getafe, they've actually straight back-to-back win, 4 wins, in a row without a defeat. At the point I was saying this is not the Barcelona we know, but since the inclusion of Gundogan, João Felix, and you see it's like the team has been resurrected, and now we are seeing the result they are giving. I think it's a good one for the coach so far.
And another thing that a lot of credit has to go to Laporte, because in that terrible depth place, and you can master a way whereby you regroup players, and you build a squad. This squad can compete for the Champions League this season.
Of course.
If they can avoid injuries. This squad can face the defending champion Man City and hold their own. They have guys that can halt any team in the world. So a lot of credit has to go to Laporte. Honestly, a big credit has to go to him.
Okay, and I think there's this talisman, Lamar. That guy is something else. It's like it's going to be a good replacement for Messi, because a lot of people are beginning to forget Messi since his introduction into Barcelona. I think he has a long way to go.
Okay, he has a long way to go. Talking about the 16-year-old player, Yamis Lamel. And straight to the other centers still in Group A, Shakhtar Donetsk and Porto. A lot of goals are coming in that game, and still another opportunity for Manchester City. But Crvena were able to actually defend that with all their life like they've done, and they have a chance to actually give up counter Manchester City. But you can see the recovery rate of Manchester City players. They recover as soon as possible, but that's still a chance for Crvena up there in the left wing. But that won't be threatening Manchester City, and it's all for a goal kick. Talking about Manchester City, you can see the goalkeeper, the Crvena goalkeeper, he has actually been top-notch in this game. Is the reason why Crvena are not 1 or 2 goals behind in this game. Fantastic note there from Foden. Fantastic save from Crvena goalkeeper. In the 40th minute, it's to Manchester City 0, Crvena 0, while Barcelona are 3 goals up against Antwerp in 40 minutes also. In another center where we have the goals galore, talking about the game between Shakhtar Donetsk and Porto. It's Porto leading in that encounter 3-1 in the 42nd minute. Lot of goals in there. 4 goals in the first half already. And talking about the game between PSG and Dortmund, it's 0-0 in the 41st minute already. While Atletico Madrid have scored a goal against Lazio, taking us, putting that game 1-0 against Lazio, and Atletico Madrid are actually playing away from home in Italy. Back to the game between Manchester City and Crvena. It's Manchester City who are dominating players. They haven't played in the midfield, and they're actually pushing Crvena back into their defense, so more defensive role in this game. For how long do you think Crvena can actually do this? You know, soaking that pressure. How long do you think they can do it without, flopping?
You know, they have to be, if they are actually disciplined, they can hold Manchester City for a very long time. But we know how dangerous the attacking side of Manchester City. But right now, this is the 44th minute now, they have been able to hold Manchester City. But credit to the goalkeeper, Omri Glazer. He has been their saving help in this very
saving grace.
They're saving grace in this very counter right now, because he has stopped. If you can check,
Manchester City are preparing a substitution, and it's the fantastic player Jeremy Doku, who they just got, but he has actually been a fantastic player for Manchester City. We saw him during the last weekend, and he gave a good account of himself in the last round of games in the EPL. Let's see what he can actually bring to this game. He's a fantastic player, when it comes to a lightning winger. Belgium are actually, this is a player I'm actually very much interested in. When you are moving away from from losing Eden Hazard, to loss of form, and there's a chance for Crvena, but for Manchester City, we are able to clear their lines, and it's back to the Crvena players who are actually with the ball right now and trying to create a chance against Manchester City, and that's an opportunity for Crvena to actually push. But trust Robert Diaz, the experience, the experience is there for him. The big man is there to clear that, and we'll be seeing Doku coming in any moment from now. And it is Bernardo Silva who is going out. We'll be getting to see that, if that was due to injury or he hasn't really been in this game. Or what do you guys think?
I think so. I don't know. Guardiola is sometimes.
Because it's rare for you to see Guardiola's make substitution in the first half.
For any coach, it is rare.
It is rare, and nobody knows what's happening.
Not just any other player, a player like Bernardo Silva.
No, I know something must be wrong somewhere, because looking at what is happening here.
The thing is this. Looking at Bernardo Silva since the beginning.
And that's a chance for Manchester City. They've been asking all the questions in this first half, but the goals are not coming, and that's also an immediate impact from Jeremy Doku. But that is not going to threaten the Crvena defense. And another opportunity for Manchester City. Doku in the box, and he takes this one. And that is another good hit from Manchester City. But that is not going to threaten the goalkeeper either. And that was a fantastic one from Julian Alvarez. But it's not going to threaten the goalkeeper. Good one from Jeremy Doku, just less than 1 minute into the game. But we've seen immediate impact from the Belgian. And let's see how much it can threaten Crvena in this first half. Let's see if Manchester City will get in a goal, but we're in the 45th minute already in this game. In both encounter, Manchester City, Crvena, 45 minutes already, still Manchester City 0, Crvena 0, while in the game between Barcelona and Antwerp, Barcelona are 3 goals up in the first half already. Back to the game between Manchester City, Antwerp with a great chance to get the first goal.
And that is a goal! That should be an offside.
That is going to be an offside. Wow, that was a good movement from Crvena player. But, there's one thing in this game. Manchester City defense needs to be careful with how much they play high-line defending. Yes, we know they are very much good, but against this kind of small teams, you are not a small team, sorry, because they are playing the Champions League. But Oh, this is not an offside. This is a good goal.
That is a goal.
That was a fantastic run against run of play. He beat the offside trap to give them that goal. I'm very sure Vieira will be checking that. That should be a goal.
That should be a goal. If you look, the defender, the Manchester City defender was up front, and just a little gap. So I'm very sure the VAR is going to give that. There's no offside there, and you can see the referee about checking the VAR, and we just hope he gets it right.
I think most likely they'll get it right. You see, that's what I was talking about. That when you don't score, see, this game is 0-0 because of the lackadaisical attitude of the Man City players. Look at that Foden header. That was a straight header.
That was supposed to be a goal.
He was supposed to place that header. That was a straight. Bernardo Silva has not really been in this game because we're looking at it from the first half. His movement is short. He's not the Bernardo Silva we used to know. So I love one thing about managers like Guardiola. They don't take nonsense. So that's why they stay at the top.
Okay, there's a real check on that goal, and it's a goal Crvena we actually fancy taking that lead into the extra time. 1 minute of additional time in both encounters. Talking about the game between Barcelona and Antwerp. 1 minute was added there, and the game between Manchester City and Crvena, it's 1 minute additional time. VR is checking to see if that was a goal, and let's see what the referee decision is going to be.
And it's a goal!
Crvena
Goal
with the first goal in this game. You know, it's not really about a well-deserved goal, but they actually take that goal. That was a fantastic goal, a fantastic movement from the player. You see the run, you know, the run was actually the goal for me in that goal.
Well-timed run. And you have to give the guy that gave the assist a lot of credit. Yeah, you know, those kind of assists are the assists that strikers really want. Because you just put the ball where it be comfortable for them. Either 1 or 2 touches, they make the attempt and they try to score the goal. A lot of credit has to go to that team. They stuck together.
You know, defensively, they know very well how dangerous Manchester City is. And what they did was that they went all defending, waiting for every opportunity of a counter, and that is just what happened. They waited for the opportunity of a counter, it came, and they got it. And against all expectation, nobody expected Zvezda to score against almighty Manchester City. But right, we are seeing it. It's 1 goal.
Again, that's why it's the UEFA Champions League. Don't forget, that's why I said it's the 32 best team in Europe playing against each other. This is not your favorite league. This is not your country league. Here you're playing against the best teams in Europe. And that is why Crvena can come to the Etihad Stadium, you know, against all others, score the first goal and give us the first goal, and the fans are taking this into halftime. It's an unfamiliar goal at the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City 0, Crvena 1 at the time of the first half. And the game between Barcelona and Antwerp, it's halftime already in that game, and Barcelona 3 goes up in that game, and straight to some statistics coming into the first day of the UEFA Champions League. Barcelona are the team who have topped their group the most times in the UEFA Champions League under the current format, which started in 2023-24, doing so in 14 of their 19 such campaign. You know, that's 74% of the time Barcelona have come into the Champions League, they've topped their group. It shows how good, you know, the Barcelona team is. Not this team alone. Talking about the team from the 2003, looking at the time they had a certain Lionel Messi, a time they had Ronaldinho,
from the Ronaldinho
era down to now, they've actually topped their group 14 times out of 19 seasons. Yeah,
you have to give a lot of credit to the way the Barcelona management has gone around things, from Laporte especially. When he left for Bartomeu, we saw the catastrophe that it caused. And thankfully for them, he came back. And see, in Pidgin, they say, "Una, what you don't know, you don't know. What you know, you know." And you have to, that's why you saw Madrid too. When Madrid was downsizing, that was when Florentino Perez was not there. He came back and he started doing his thing. There are some things that you know how to do this, you just know how to. So you have to give a lot of credit to the guys behind the scene, mainly Laporte. And he has been a big factor to Barcelona being where they are today. And it's just a starting point for them, for the new generation.
Okay, it's finally half-time in all centers in Europe currently. And this is Feyenoord who are currently winning against Celtic in Netherlands. It's Feyenoord 1, Celtic 0 at half-time. Lazio won't go down against Atletico Madrid in Italy. While the game between PSG and Dortmund is still without a goal at halftime. Manchester City against Crvena. Manchester City are currently losing at the Etihad Stadium 1-0 at halftime against Crvena, while Barcelona are 3 goals up against Royal Antwerp. Shakhtar Donetsk are losing 1-3 against Porto. Fantastic results, a lot of goals we've seen, but the game between PSG and Dortmund is yet to give us a goal. Is that game living up to expectations?
No. That is. I think that is a very tight encounter because both PSG and Dortmund, they are in form right now, and a lot of expectation from PSG because of the likes of Kylian Mbappe, who actually wanted to leave PSG because of Champions League. And here, before his own presence, it is the Champions League. It is time for him to prove what he can do with it. So we are right now goalless, but we still expect them to score in the second half. They are in their own home, so it's an opportunity for him to win it. But I know very well that this encounter is going to be a very tough one between Barcelona and Dortmund and PSG.
And Yemi, we are having a new attacking side of a PSG. Last season it was Kylian Mbappe, Colomani, and it was Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, and Lionel Messi. But this season we are having Kylian Mbappe back to the favorite position where he wants himself. Talking about the left side of the attack, and Colomani is there playing as a forward, and they have Ousmane Dembele. Do you think this is a potent side enough, capable of giving Manchester City the UEFA Champions League that's actually eluded them?
I just think that this season, PSG should be realistic with themselves and just build. This season, they just need to build synergy among those guys. You can't just bring those, they are mostly, apart from, Mbappe is still young, it's just that he's a fast learner. Dembele, we know Dembele to slowly grow into his rhythm. And he's extremely injury prone. And looking at Moani too is a striker in the pipelines. He has not grown to that big man that can actually lead a team yet. So PSG should just calm down, build synergy, and challenge for the Champions League next season. Because as far as I'm concerned, PSG has no bite enough up front for me to take them as one of the favorites for the Champions League.
Okay, Solomon, straight to you. Yeah. Colomani and Ousmane Dembele, both players actually replace, one of the GOATs, talking about one of the greatest of all time, talking about Lionel Messi, and one of the fan favorites, talking about Neymar in this Barcelona side. Do you think these two players are up to the task?
Well, they are not. They cannot. Right now, it is very difficult for you to get one who can fit into the shoe of Lionel Messi because he's a natural player and is so good that what Dembele can only bring is to play as a team and to work together with what they have up front. But to compare them with Messi is going to be very difficult. But it is still possible. It is still possible. But Dembele, so far, we know him. We've seen his exploit in Barcelona, right? And his colleagues. So both of them, it will be very difficult. But the system can permit them because when Messi was even there in PSG and Neymar together with Kylian Mbappe, the combination was not even so fruitful as expected. It was just full of big names, but it was not so fruitful as getting the maximum goal needed, to prove that yes, this is a combination of the world best. But with Kylian Mbappe and Dembele, there's this little thing they can do that what they will produce will surpass what the trio of Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi were doing in Barcelona. But it is still possible for him to do something great.
Okay, straight to the starting 11. PSG starts this game with a 4-3-3 formation with Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal post, while in defense they have Hakimi in right back. Marquinhos is the captain, and it pairs with Milan Skriniar in defense, while Lucas Hernandez plays as the left back. In midfield they have Vitinha, Manuel Ugarte, and Warren Zaire-Emery, while up front they have Kylian Mbappe, Colomani, and Ousmane Dembele. Everybody wants to see how many goals they can actually score, if they can better what the performance of Kylian Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar. While in Dortmund they start with the 3-5-2 formation with Kobel, the favorite goalkeeper, talking about their number one goalkeeper, and in defense, three-man defense, they start with Niklas Sule, Mats Hummels, and Nico Schultz step back. While in midfield we have Wolf, we have Julian Brandt, there's Emre Can, who is the captain of the side tonight, There's Sabiza, who came back from Manchester United. You know, it wasn't really a successful loan deal to Manchester United. And they have Riyassin also. While up front, they start with Karim Adeyemi and Milan. Do you think this is a good squad, talking about the Borussia Dortmund squad?
Yeah, it is practically what they have going forward. You know, a team that lost a prolific attacker like Jude Bellingham, it will take a little toll on them, but their transition, you have to give them a lot of credit. It's one club that has been making a whole lot of money from transfers, and they've managed to stay in the top 4 in the German Bundesliga. So with the guys they have right now, I think they can really, Karim Adeyemi, and this other big guy from Cameroon, I think, what's his name?
There's Haaland. There's Haaland here.
So
from, what's it called, Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. So Allah, yes. Not Cameroon, Ivory Coast, I mean. So it's, you have to just give it to them that they can do well, maybe get to second round or quarterfinals, but I don't see them going through past that stage.
Okay, before we go on the commercial, before we go on for a breather, let's talk about some players, you know, who have taken a breather away from the UEFA Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo is the all-time highest scorer in the Champions League with 140 goals. Lionel Messi is second with 129. We have Karim Benzema, who is the fourth with 90 goals. You know, these three players are no more playing in Europe. How much of a big miss do you guys think they are to the Champions League?
There are a lot of big, like a huge chunk of fans will be missing them, because those guys, they bring out the magic in the UEFA Champions League. We've seen them single-handedly lead their teams to the trophy, not just once. So those kind of players, you really need other players to step up and fill in that gap. And let's just hope that some other guys too will step up and fill in that vacuum, because a whole lot of vacuum is empty right now, and we need people to fill them. Not like the way Lilana has been wasting chances here. We need them to do better.
Yeah. You're talking about the trio, Messi, Benzema, and Ronaldo. You know, at a point in time, we were feeling that without these people, football will not be as interesting as we expected. You know, but right now they are away. They are not here. We are not. But it's like we are not missing them so much, because what we are seeing right now, crop of players are coming up. You know what I'm saying? Coming up from nowhere, from all angles, and it's just interesting to watch young boys, playing football like mature people who are already 70-something years. You know, surprising, we have them a lot, like Lamar. I mean, we see João Felix is coming up in Barcelona, and more, we're expecting more from them. So it's a good one. And then we didn't talk about this goal scored by Zvezda against Manchester. It's an African border Ghanaian, Usman Bukari, 24 years, that scored that goal. I think it's a good one for him. I think with this kind of goal, I think we will raise his profile.
Okay, the top scorer in the Champions League last season was Erling Haaland, who scored 12 goals. And straight to the new players who are looking forward to, to actually beat that record of Ronaldo. Still a very long numbers to go, 140. I'm talking about someone who has 40 goals already in 61 UEFA Champions League appearances. Kylian Mbappe, he has 40 goals already in 61 UEFA Champions League goal. While Erling Haaland has 35 goals in 30 UEFA Champions League appearances. What are the chances of these two players, beating that record of Cristiano Ronaldo at 140 goals?
I think as it stands, because football is a team game. Now, when you now look at it, the team the two of them are playing for. And I think as of now, if Kylian Mbappe changed this team, the factors in the variables will change in the equation. But as of now, Erling Haaland has more chances of breaking that record way faster than Kylian Mbappe, because Mbappe really needs to realize that age is no longer on his side. He's already 24, going to 25. Now, crossing that mid-20s means he's gradually beginning to, he's getting to his peak, and the next way, after getting up, is down. So he has to realize that for him to be able to tear those records he wants to, especially with the owner of the record being his role model and his mentor, Cristiano Ronaldo. So he really needs to change the team he's playing for and really go to a more prolific side that can give him the numbers he desires. A side where he can comfortably score 15 to 20 goals in the Champions League. We saw Ronaldo do that. Some Champions League seasons, score 15 goals, go high in the Champions League. So he really needs to wake up and start seeing it from the career perspective, not just the monetary aspect. So for me right now, Erling Haaland can easily break that record way faster than Cristiano.
Before we go for that break, you know, talking about Kylian Mbappe, you know, he has a very long way to go because we're already talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, who is having 140 goals. Kylian Mbappe is seat 19. He has 18 people. He's number 19 now.
I'm talking about, you know, 30 goals in 35 matches. No, 35 goals in 30 UEFA Champions League matches is actually a fantastic, you know,
So he still have 18 people to beat before he get to Ronaldo. But I see Erling Haaland is still below 19. But Erling Haaland is faster. You know, when it comes to goal, he hardly, you see Erling Haaland, this is the first match, and probably before this match ends, he's going to score a goal. You understand? So he's faster, so there is this hope.
Lose some clinical chances.
Today, but he will still score. You know, so he has, Erling Haaland has that opportunity to get to that Ronaldo's record than even Kylian Mbappe.
Okay, you can hear that. So we'll still be here. It's a lot of years to see if Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland can actually break the goal record. 140 goals in UEFA Champions League is the all-time record, and the other is Cristiano Ronaldo, who now plays with Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. A lot of money in Saudi Arabia League. But we're going for a quick breather, and when we come back, it's going to be the second half of various centers in the UEFA Champions League. Response from Manchester City at the beginning of the second half. Alvarez has given Manchester City the equalizer in this game. It's 1-1 already at the Etihad Stadium. Lot of, wow, that was a fantastic movement from Manchester City. Lot of movement here, you know. Erling Haaland with the assist here, and that is a fantastic one. Good movement from the Argentine, talking about Julian Alvarez, the World Cup winner, and that was a good winning.
Look at that.
Good goal from him, talking about the Argentine. Fantastic goal, and you can hear that from my colleagues in the studio. You can even hear someone saying it's Jesus Christ. I'm sure Pep Guardiola will be very much, you know, he'll be so much happy with that equalizer. 47th minute already in that game. It's Manchester City 1, Crvena 1. You know, at the end of the first half, we're thinking it's a game that might actually give us a shocker. But it's looking like a game that Manchester City might be coming back.
You know, I mentioned the tactical brilliance of the coach from the bench. We saw him bring in Jeremy Doku. And Jeremy Doku hasn't really settled down into the game before they were hit by that goal. And you see, when you have a coach like Guardiola, he doesn't take nonsense. So he would have actually maybe been screaming at the guys at during the break or any other thing. But I know that second half pep talk must have spurred them on to start doing the needful that needed to be done.
Okay, the needful needs to be done, and they've actually done that, and they're back into this game, courtesy of that goal from Julian Alvarez, the Argentine, talking about the World Cup winner. We saw him at the World Cup. You know, he was enterprising, and you have to look at how much Barcelona and Manchester City actually got him for a low money from Boca Junior. But he hasn't really looked back. Last season was actually fantastic for the young man, and this season he's not looking back. Talking about the Argentine striker. 1-1 in that encounter at Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City 1, Crvena 1, while the game between Barcelona and Antwerp is also back in the second half. It's still Barcelona 3, Antwerp 0. Straight to some comment section. We have Mata rising with IB Boniface. I need not predict the Barca match because the difference is clear. And he still went on to say, if the Z Club or whatever they call themselves like, Manchester City is winning this match. Ochena blessings, Manchester City all the way. Barcelona is really eating this ants of a team. Wow. No, they scored. Okay, I think that was when they scored Manchester City in the first half. But I think I have a problem with Boniface here. It's going to be a draw for Manchester City. You have to stay in one place. You can't say it's going to be a draw, and at the same time you are going back to say Manchester City are going to win. No. But it's back in that game. It's now 1-1 in the game between Manchester City and Crvena. Don't forget, you can be a part of this conversation by dropping your comments in the live chat. We promise to read that out, and the game is back to the way it started. It's Manchester City who have dominated play like they did in the first half. 49 minutes of action already. We are approaching the 50th minute. It's Manchester City 1, Crvena 0, while Barcelona 3 goes up against Antwerp in the 51st minute already. What are you guys' expectations in the second half?
Well, the expectation is what we are already seeing. We know that it's not going to be easy for Zvezda to go away with 1-0 victory against Manchester City due to the tactical brilliance of Guardiola and the agile players. They are always on form, because if you are not in form in Guardiola's team, he's not going to feature you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see. Even talking about the goal, the way they scored this goal is what tricked me so much.
And that's a good chance.
I'm so much excited. That assist came from Erling Haaland. He threw the ball to Alvarez. Look at the way, so fast, so fast, 2 touch, and he got that goal into the defense of the Zvezda. They were just they don't even know it was going to be like that. And before you know what's happening, it's goal.
You know, the goal was so good that it brought a tata into the conversation. Well, it's so nice and good. And when we just talk about, you have to give a lot of credit to Crvena. I prefer calling them West Star Belgrade, because there are some names that when you pronounce it, you must visit the dentist.
I'll be having issue.
Maybe. So, but I prefer calling them Red Star Belgrade. It's another name.
It reminds me of the first day. There was a reason why I was asking for Wednesdays. Because when I checked some of the players' names, and I was like, God, I'm anchoring this program today. And I need to mention this player's name. How am I going to do it? That was why I was interested in hosting Wednesday program, but unfortunately they gave me this Tuesday today. And that's another opportunity for Barcelona, but they won't be getting that. Will that be a fourth goal for Barcelona?
Analyse!
Barcelona, 4 goals up in this game. Gavi, where the first goal in this game. Fantastic young talent, talking about the young Spanish player. With his first goal and takes Barcelona to 4 goals up in this game against Antwerp. Barcelona 4, Antwerp 0 in the 53rd minute already. You know, Barcelona are going all gone blazing against Antwerp, and it's looking like a new Barcelona this season.
Yeah, actually, it's a new Barcelona. 54th minute, 4-0. This is the
And Manchester City have the second goal. And coming from the captain, Kyle Walker. That's an offside. I'm very sure Vera will be checking that, and you can see Kyle Walker is not believing that. He's in disbelief. That is surely offside. Well, let's see what Vera will be checking. We'll be having Vera check surely. But that looks like an offside. Oh, fantastic goal for Kyle Walker, but that won't be standing. One of the very best right back in the world. And you know, when it comes to paces, he has that pace. A good one from him, but that won't be standing as a goal for Kyle Walker.
And I think, as far as I'm concerned, Kyle Walker is the current best right back. Nobody comes close.
Oh, you can hear that from the Chelsea fans, but I'm very sure some Chelsea fans will be telling you Reece James is the best right back in the world.
Want to talk about
and some Liverpool fans will tell you it is Trent Arnold that is the best defender. He's the best right back in the world. Okay, I leave that argument to our viewers. You know, you can come into the live chat and tell me who your best right back is in the world of football. But that goal won't be standing, but it's Manchester City who are currently looking forward to scoring the second goal, and that is going to be a clearing and forwarding from Crvena, but they've been able to clear that. Okay, I think I'll be going back to their real name, Red Star Brigade. I think that is even far better than calling them Crvena in this game. It is Manchester City who are very much deep into the half of Crvena, and they are looking for the all-important second goal very early into this game. How important is it for Manchester City to score that second goal very early on in the second half?
You know, this in Champions League group stage, your first game is very important, because away to Red Star Belgrade, it can be very difficult. Their home is a very, very difficult ground. We've seen some big teams go there and suffer so much. So Man City, the best bet for them is let them win at this Etihad Stadium. Maybe beat all the rest. Then they know that maybe the second leg will be inconsequential for as far as they are concerned. So they really need to come out, and there's still time. We will still have a little over 30 minutes to play, additional time maybe into 40 minutes. And I think Man City can actually pull off something special.
Okay, you know, it's a fortress when Manchester City are playing at the Etihad Stadium. Let's see if they can actually get this. They've actually know how to butcher anybody when it comes to playing at the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City true. You know, we've not really seen Jack Grealish this season. He has been injured. But, you know, we've seen Doku done fantastic job. We've seen Foden done another fantastic job playing for Manchester City. How much do you think Jack Grealish needs to be scared of his position in that starting level?
I think if Jack Grealish was not injured, I think he will be the one deputizing for De Bruyne. De Bruyne, because Alvarez won't have to shift from his own position, because De Bruyne can actually adapt, because he's more or less like his natural role to be a playmaker. So I think De Bruyne just come on, do what De Bruyne can do best, and you just have your place back in the team. Because I still think Jeremy Doku has a whole lot of growing up to do. Because he's still good at this point, but he still needs to grow up in his game. Because his first touch when he came in, he had no business cutting that ball back. He would have made a one-time cross. But, you know, players, we have levels to this. Then age matters too. So there's still a lot of growing up to do. And what other manager do you want to grow up under?
And you know, there's one thing I fancy about Manchester City. It's their bench. You are bringing in Akonji in the second half.
Yeah, the bench is rich. Viador, there's Ruben Diaz. You know how many guys do you have? They just lost Laporte.
I think I have to say it on air right now. I have to say it on live TV, you know, with our over 1,000 viewers, that I'm moving to Manchester City.
Where are you going to buy the phone from?
I'm not in Manchester City. I'll bring my phone tomorrow. It's very much easy. I'll bring my phone when we're coming out.
But there are some of us.
Hold on.
I don't know if I'm a Chelsea fan, but I'm moving to Manchester City tomorrow. I'll be a Manchester City.
You know, I'm a Chelsea faithful.
Oh, you're a Chelsea fan.
We are legally.
You are a Chelsea fan. Right?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Don't come to Man City.
I say it on
if you come to Man City, they'll start winning Man City.
You are not a Manchester City fan.
If you come to Manchester City, they'll start winning Man City.
You are not
better stay where you are.
I'm moving to Chelsea. Going to the back of the net, and that was being cleared by the goalkeeper, who has been fantastic today against Manchester City. I think Chelsea actually need a goalkeeper. They need to get this guy. Talking about Yemi Chelsea. Talking about Glazer. Chelsea need to get that guy.
How can it be Yemi Chelsea? He's through the ball in the first place.
I'm no more a Chelsea fan. So it's good.
It is Todd Boehly and Baghdadi's Chelsea. Okay. Yes, not Yemi's Chelsea. But I'm a proud Chelsea supporter. Anytime, any day, anywhere. No matter what, we love the club.
Okay, back to the game. Talking about Manchester City, and we'll be seeing another substitution from Manchester City right now. It's looking like that is Sergio Gomez who will be going out for Akanji. One of the fantastic defender when it comes to the EPL last season. And last season was his first season with Manchester City, where he gave a good account of himself. And that is why one of the reasons why Manchester City were the champions of the EPL. Treble winners last season. You know, fantastic season for Manchester City. It's very much everyone see if they can replicate that this season. But I'm very sure Yemi and his Chelsea team will actually be a stumbling block for Manchester City. And looking at Julian Alvarez, and let's talk about some of the markets, you know, talking about some of the numbers Manchester City spent on getting this fantastic player. Manchester City got Julian Alvarez for just £14 million. You know, and looking at the player right now, if you're looking at the turnover, because like you rightly said, if what's it called, Kevin De Bruyne is coming back, Alvarez will have to sit on the bench, because we have we have Haaland up front, who is doing fantastically well. You know, scoring 36 goals in the EPL last season wasn't just a fluke or not just any number. And you having 7 goals already in 5 games this season. And you look at Alvarez, a World Cup winner, a fantastic player. Even on his own day, he won't want to be a second fiddle to Haaland. Yeah. So I'm very sure big teams like your team, Chelsea, will have to go into the market next season trying to get Alvarez from Manchester City.
Yeah, you know, it depends on the player actually, because it's a long season. De Bruyne has proven to be a player that can't play the full season at a stretch, mainly because of injuries. And there are some matches that Guardiola...
And finally, Manchester City have a goal.
And Julian
just talking about Julian Alvarez.
And that is the second goal, talking about the devil. He gave Manchester City the second goal already in the 59th minute, approaching 60 minutes. Second goal for Alvarez, the World Cup winner. I love calling him that name because I saw him at the World Cup and I know he was a fantastic player at that. I'm talking about the goalkeeper. He actually flopped that. He actually flopped that. That was terrible. Oh, that was terrible from the goalkeeper. Glazer, for every good thing he has done from the first half, he actually let his team out there. Good goal from Julian Alvarez. And you have to give it to Pep Guardiola. When a striker is playing as the attacking midfielder, your striker is giving you he's taking the free kicks and is scoring a lot of goals. You have to give it to this man. Talking about that tactician, Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, he's actually for now he's the best coach in the world, because the way he helps players to grow. This is not the Alvarez that got to Man City. Honestly, we can say a whole lot of things about Kevin De Bruyne, but this is not the De Bruyne we used to know that played under this Real Betis coach, the former Manchester City coach. So you have to give a lot of credit to Guardiola because he improves players a whole lot. And you have to give him so much credit. And I think he has a stake in being one of the greatest coaches in history of football.
I hear that. He has a stake in being one of the best coaches, if not one of the greatest. You know, look at his age. He's still a very young coach. And probably by the end of his career, he'll be upsoaring coaches like Carlo Ancelotti and the great one, talking about Sir Alex Ferguson. Probably at the end of his career, he'll be the greatest manager. Who knows? You know, A lot of seasons to go in EPL, probably at a point. Do you still see him going straight into national team football?
I think for his age, I think for now, I don't see that happening because it will be too boring for him. Because these kinds of coaches, they breathe football. They just want to play around. You can see him sometimes, he play around with even his tactics. It shows how flexible he can be, how unique he can be in interpreting his own imprint on the game. So when you look at coaches like this, I don't see him running into national team. Maybe you want to have a taste of Italian football. And since he has had a taste of the La Liga, the Bundesliga, now the Premier League, maybe he will want to, because to me, I think he really loves Man City. So he won't want to coach another Premier League team. And mainly, I think he will just want to go to Italy and maybe have a bite of the mafia football, the Italianos themselves. And
you know, this is a coach that easily gets bored. You know, he easily get bored or get fed up with team. We saw him at Barcelona. He needed a new fresh or a new breath of air, and he left Barcelona for Bayern Munich. And same thing at Bayern Munich. You know, he needed a new breath of air. He left Barcelona. He left Bayern Munich for Manchester City. So at a point, you know, we've seen him in EPL. He has dominated EPL, and he has won the Champions League already. You know, it's looking like at a point he wants to leave Manchester City.
Yes,
also.
but I think that breath of fresh air at Barca has a lot to do with the management. Not giving him some things he wanted, the free hand he needed. Even Bayern Munich, not giving him the kind of free hand he needed. But at Man City, he has the free hand he needed. That's why you see that he just extended his contract. He's spending his 5th season already. I think 5th or 6th season already. And he extended his contract already. So that's like times 2 of the number of years he used at other clubs. You see, you don't see people saying they just want to leave their house because they are bored. So far their house is comfortable. They want to stay there. So I think Man City is so comfortable for him that he can choose to stay for even a decade or more.
Okay.
Apart from being comfortable.
That's by just Haaland will be scoring his first goal anytime soon. 63 minutes already in that game, and still Manchester City were leading against Red Star Brigade. Manchester City 2, Red Star Brigade 1. And in the game between Barcelona and Antwerp, is Barcelona were leading 4-0 in the 63rd minute also in that game. What do you guys think Erling Haaland needs to do to score? It's like Glazer is here against Erling Haaland today.
And it's 5-0.
Oh, finally, João Felix with the second goal in the game between Barcelona and Antwerp. The player who played on loan for Chelsea last season now has 2 goals for Barcelona already in this game. You don't even think this guy actually wanted to go back to Chelsea. You know, he was actually on the neck that he wants to play for Chelsea. Though at the point, he wants to play for Barcelona. And that it's always good when you pursue your dreams and you are allowing your dream to materialize. And now he's at Barcelona. We saw him at Atletico Madrid. You know, the issues with, what's it called, Diego Simeone. And at the point, everybody were asking, is this boy actually good? We were seeing here tonight in the Champions League, you know, where else you have scored this number of goals, if not the UEFA Champions League? 2 goals tonight, fantastic one for him. You have to really give him some credit too. You have to let go of some cash too, like some financial gains to join Barcelona. And that shows that whenever you are playing where you are happy, it has a whole lot to show. When you see it, look at the Messi that played for PSG last season, and the Messi that is at Inter Miami now. When a player is happy, the way they play for a club is different. So you have to give him. I like the way he was outspoken, that even made Barca went in, because they are really restrained financially. So when they are getting you, they really have to do a lot of sacrifice.
João Felix is going out.
And that's a good one for Barcelona.
And that's a substitution for Barcelona. João Felix has actually given a good account for himself, and talking about the man of the moment. Yamal is actually in now, and João Felix is out, and we can see him going straight to the dressing room of just hope that he's not an injury to the man of the moment. He has actually done everything possible to be the best, the man of the match, sorry. He has done everything possible to be the man of the match in this game. 65 minutes already in that game, that encounter between Barcelona and Antwerp. Is Barcelona who are 5 goals up, you know. They are gone blazing today. And in the game between Manchester City and Red Star Belgrade, it's Manchester City who are back in the lead 2-1 in 66 minutes. We're approaching 67 minutes in that air counter. This year coming back in that game and talking about the game between PSG and on the counter there would have been the second goal, but that was going off. And talking about the game between PSG and Borussia Dortmund. PSG are back and they're topping. They have gone blazing in the second half. 2 goals up right now. The first goal in the 48th minute from Kylian Mbappe and the second goal from Akiev Hakimi. 2 goals now for PSG. They are 2 goals up against Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, expectedly, we expect that game should be an explosive tie with a lot of goals. Let's just hope that it keeps bringing forth the goals. Because when you hear PSG and you hear Borussia Dortmund, we hear all attacking kind of.
We can see the Nigerian talking about Peter Olayinka. He's on his way coming into this game. One of the fantastic strikers. He gave a good account of himself in Czech Republic last season. And he's here right now playing for Red Star Belgrade. Let's see what he'll be bringing into this game. Will he be getting the equalizer for Red Star Belgrade against Manchester City? Another good player when you look at Peter Olayinka, what he has done for in the Czech Republic. But he couldn't bring that to the Super Eagles. No thanks to the fantastic player talking about Victor Moses. If there's any Victor Osimhen, if there's any department the Super Eagles of Nigeria having problem, it's not like the strikers. Our strikers has actually been top-notch for this season. You have to give it to them.
Boniface was just the player of the month in the German Bundesliga, and also the young player of the month in Bundesliga.
And the rookie of the month.
Yes, that's the youngest player of the month. And Osimhen too has scored 2 already in the Serie A season. And there's Taiwo Awoniyi that has been fantastic.
I actually feel like Taiwo was actually, rigged, or he was actually, how can I put it? He should have cheated. He was cheated. He should have gotten that player of the month in EPL.
I still think that.
No disrespect to the EPL, no disrespect to the FA, but that is my personal opinion. I actually felt like Taiwo Awoniyi actually did everything. He did everything right. And that's the chance for Manchester City for Doku, but he won't be getting the 3rd goal there. I'm still talking about Taiwo Awoniyi. I actually feel like he should have won that. He has done everything possible, everything right to have actually won the player of the month.
I think he deserves to be the player of the month last month with the number of assists, number of goals. We're playing for a squad like Nottingham Forest and doing all that. We still see him got an assist yesterday too. Yeah. I think honestly, anything that has to do with voting, it cannot be actually balanced all the time.
Okay, it can be balanced, and I'm very sure Nigerians, when it comes to voting, you can also vote for our very own Victor Osimhen for the best player when it comes to FIFA, the best. You can go to the FIFA site and vote for Victor Osimhen wherever position you feel like Victor Osimhen deserves to be. You can just go to the site and vote for the young Nigerian striker. He did very well with Napoli last season. So let's see where your vote can actually push the Nigeria too. Okay, straight away to some centers. Unfair news that still won't go up against Celtic in the 70th minute, while Celtic have seen 2 red cards in that game already in the 70th minute. Lazio against Atletico Madrid is still 1-0. And if there's a team that knows how to take 1-0 away from the center, it is Atletico Madrid. They know how to do that very well. PSG against Dortmund, 70th minute also in that encounter. It's still 2-0 for PSG. And in the game between Manchester City and the Crvena Zvezda, also known as Red Star Belgrade, it's Manchester City who are leading 2-1 in the 71st minute. Barcelona against Royal Antwerp. They are not looking royal anything tonight. It is Barcelona who are leading 5-0 in that encounter, while Shakhtar Donetsk are losing at home against Porto, 3-1 in the 72nd minute. Are these results going as expected?
Yeah, mostly going as expected. PSG, everybody felt PSG should have won over Borussia Dortmund, even though they lost at the weekend to Nice. But I think PSG has enough in the arsenal to prosecute that game and just get the desired result. And going to the Barcelona-Antwerp game, now everybody will now understand the reason why Red Star Belgrade came with a 5-man defense to face Man City. You can't, when you concede like this, it will affect your chances for even going down if you'll be able to go down to the Europa League after the group stage. And mind you, for our viewers, this is the last time that the Champions League will be in this format.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a new format that will start 2024-2025 season.
Okay,
And
talking
we
about
can't wait.
talking about the 2024-2025 season, we'll be having 36 teams total included, up from 32. Group stages are replaced by one big league table. Each team plays 10 games in the first phase, 5 home games and 5 away. At 100 additional games in the Champions League, the top 8 sides in the league phase will qualify automatically to the knockout stages, while teams finishing in the 9th to 24th place will compete in a 2-legged playoff to secure their path to the last 16. Do you think this is making... Rodri! Talking about the Spanish, fantastic player. You know, one of the very, if not the best defensive midfielder last season in the whole of EPL and in the whole of Europe. And not just Europe alone, in the whole of the world. He scored the Champions League winner for Manchester City last season. And he has gotten Manchester City their third goal in the 72nd minute. Rodri with the third goal for Manchester City against Red Star Brigade. You know, at the end of first half, Red Star Brigade were looking like a team that would get an upset here and win that game by 1-0. But wow, fantastic goal from Rodri.
Good placement.
Good goal from Rodri there. Good movement from him. You can see that movement. And you can see him picking that spot. Good goal from him. And it still boils down to Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, not only Guardiola, Rodri is a leader in that squad. And how best when a leader leaves in Gundogan, another leader rises. And Rodri, in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne, another leader. In the absence of Gundogan, another leader. In the absence of their former defender, that is the current coach of Burnley, another leader. He has risen to become one player that Man City can count on the leadership table for their team on the field of play. And you have to give him a lot of credit. Top-notch performances, back-to-back. You will hardly see him make silly mistakes, only once in a while. And that says a lot about how professional he has been. And you have to give him that credit.
Of course, you have to give him that credit. And you know, talking about the Barcelona the Manchester City's player, most of them, they don't just have good football on their feet. They have thinking, smart, syndrome in their brain. You know, it's
that's another chance.
It's like Guardiola select people who are thinking very well when it comes to football. Look at how he look at his movement, the goal he scored, and look at the placement. So excellent, so beautiful. You know, it makes football easy. And that is what you get from Manchester City.
From Barcelona there, that should have been the 6th goal, but Lamal couldn't pick his spots there, and it went off straight for a goal kick for Antwerp there. It is Barcelona 5, Antwerp 0 in the second half of that encounter, while the game between Manchester City and Red Star Brigade is Manchester City, who are currently leading that encounter 3-1, and straight to the other centers. It still remains the same in the 75th minute between Feyenoord and Celtic. 1-0 in that encounter. Don't forget, Celtic has 2 red cards already. Atletico Madrid against Lazio is Atletico Madrid, who are 1 goal up in Italy, while PSG against Dortmund is still 1-0 in the 75th minute. Manchester City are 3 goals up against Crvena Zvezda, who has just 1 goal in that game, which keeps that game at 3-1. Barcelona 5, Royal Antwerp 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, Porto 3, and back to the game between Manchester City and the Red Star Brigade. You know, Manchester City has actually done all the turnovers in this game, and they're back leading at the Etihad Stadium. I'm very sure the fans will actually be happy. What a way to actually start your defense to the title. Coming straight to you, Yemi. Do you still see them, you know, defending their title this season?
Of course. I see them doing that in a unique way. And I think the records of last season is just a myth. I think they would tear this season apart. If other teams don't rise up to the occasion, I think there will be fire on the mountain for other teams to climb.
Okay, they have to forever. Other teams have to try. And don't forget, Chelsea and Liverpool are not in the Champions League this season, and that is why you can see Yemi talking very much objectively, because I'm very sure it's Chelsea They are back home. But you guys will play against Aston Villa this weekend, but we're leaving that for our Talk Sports shows on Friday, where I'll be giving you, review of games to come in this weekend, and you don't want to actually miss that. Talking about Talk Sports show, that is our review and preview, whereby we check every other sport and give you fresh analysis and updated analysis of different, sports around the world. You can join us on that program every Wednesday, but we'll be here on Wednesday, we'll be here on Friday to give you that program at 7 p.m. So you don't want to miss that. You can actually join us for Talk Sports on Friday. And back to the game between Manchester City and Red Star Brigade. It's Manchester City 3, Red Star Brigade 1. Solomon, do you see coming back for Red Star Brigade in this game?
No, I don't see it coming back for Red Star Brigade in this game. This is a replicate of what happened in the match against them. West Ham won the first half against Manchester City in the EPL, and they came in the second half and scored 3 goals in the second half. This is exactly what happened. They gave, Red Brigade the first half. They won the first half, and here in the second half they scored 3 goals. That's tactical, the brilliance of Guardiola. He know when to up his game, and he know when to relax, and he know when to get the 3 points. And that's what you are seeing today. And there's no way.
And that's another chance for Manchester City with this bit, the 4th goal.
Oh.
That was easily caught out by Red Star Brigade defenders. And we'll be looking forward to turning defense into attack right now. Foden has actually been a fantastic player, and that's a chance for Barcelona in that game to make it 6-0. But the goalkeeper was up to the task there, and it's still that was still in there from Red Star Brigade goalkeeper. Red Star Brigade are still in this game 77 minutes already. Oh, we are in the 78th minute, 12 more minutes to go of regulation time. There's still more time to get 2 goals. I don't believe they can get 2 goals. For you to score late in the first half and get in the first goal, there's still very much time for you to score 2 more goals. And this
you can score 1, but you can't score 2.
If they score 1 more, they will concede more.
Okay, that's another opportunity for Red Star Brigade with us being the 2nd goal. But Manchester City defenders were easily and able to clear that. It's Erling Haaland on the ball right now, and it's 3 against 2, and he's moving into place, but that pass won't be coming in anytime soon. But he chose to go to Doku on the far left side, who's looking forward to take on his man, and takes his man and still dancing around his man, Oh, but that won't be going anywhere soon, so we're threatening the goalkeeper, and that will be a corner kick. Yemi, how big of a talent is Jeremy Doku to Belgium and Manchester City?
No, he's one very good player, because you need to understand timing, especially when you are a pacey and a silky player, a very deceitful player, because you really need to understand the timing to cut in, the timing to move, the timing to shoot. And Jeremy Doku, looking at the goal he scored this weekend, look at that attempt he just made just now. He understands those timing, but he just needs a lot of growing, a little bit of growing, not a lot, a little bit of growing up to do. And what best other manager to help him grow? Guardiola. You will see an explosive Doku next season, I can tell you that.
Okay, you saw an explosive Doku next season, and we can't wait to see if will be that explosive 55 million signing for Manchester City and living up to the task. Though it's just 5 games into the EPL and just 1 game into the Champions League. But let's see if we'll be living up to expectations for Manchester City this season. At the point he was supposed to come to Chelsea. I remember seeing the post, talking about Doku. Chelsea were all over him at the age of 15. They wanted him, but it took a Lukaku advice for Chelsea not to sign Doku. Because Lukaku actually advised Doku against going to Chelsea at the age of 15.
Yeah. He might have gone to Chelsea and blossomed. We don't know. But he made this decision.
And that's a chance for Red Star Brigade with this being the 2nd goal. But that isn't going to threaten the Manchester City defense. And it's still Manchester City who are very much in control of this game. 80 minutes already been played. 10 more minutes of action to be seen. It is Manchester City 3, Red Star Brigade 1. Don't forget the first half ended with Red Star Brigade going into the halftime break 1-0 up. But they've actually left out by conceding 3 goals in the second half. It's Manchester City who are dominating play, no doubt. They've actually been everywhere against Red Star Brigade in this game. And Feyenoord that scored the 2nd goal against 9-man Celtic. That game is currently 2-0 in favor of Feyenoord. Lazio and Atletico Madrid still remain 1-0 in favor of Atletico Madrid in the 81st minute, while PSG are still 2 goals up against Dortmund in the 81st minute. It's 3 minutes, 3-1 in the game between Porto and Shaka, while Barcelona against Royal Antwerp is still 5-0. You know, it's looking like this is the way every centers are going to end.
No, it's looking good. There's an observation I just raised in this match. You know, since João Felix left the field, Barcelona have they've not been so effective as they used to be. You know, 5-11 it was 5-0, and since then it's still 5-0. They've not scored any goal. They've not made any sweet move like we used to see. I don't know why the coach had to remove him. Probably want to rest him. Probably trying to prevent him from injury. But that is what I have observed so far. They have not made any sweet move like they used to move when João Felix. So he has become an important figure in Barcelona.
Okay, it's a double substitution coming in for Manchester City. We can see the young talent talking about that's Lewis, one of the very much young talents everybody are talking about in England. One of the young player for England national team, and he will be coming in to replace. Okay, that's not him replacing what's it called. And we can see Calvin Phillips also coming into the Champions League, and we can see Lewis already coming in. Fantastic young players, prospects coming in. You know, these are players. We saw him against some of the big teams in EPL and never looked out of sorts. Let's see what he'll be bringing into this game. You know, 8 more minutes to go. You know, we can't talk about Manchester City without talking about Cole Palmer. We saw Cole Palmer, you know, through this process at Manchester City, and it's now with Chelsea. Do you think he has every opportunity or every chance of replicating what he did at Manchester City with Chelsea?
Yeah, talking about Chelsea this season, people will just conclude without getting their full facts. Chelsea has 12 whooping players on the injury list. That is a whole lot. That is not little. That's a whole lot. And to see that some of their best legs going up front are injured. Now, see, Chelsea is a team in transition. And Cole Palmer must have understood that before joining, because Cole Palmer, for me, has more opportunities of getting game time at Chelsea than Man City. He has won the Champions League with Man City. He has won the league. He has won the FA Cup. He has won other trophies with Man City. So that means it's not as if he's top trophy
all
hungry.
All he just needs is stability.
All he just needs is playing time for him to grow his game. Who says he can't later go back to Man City and become an announced player? Look at Jude Bellingham. There was a time Man City was interested in bringing him back. So I think Cole Palmer needs that move. And I think we're best at a Chelsea whereby we have young players going into the lines, looking for players to step up. And I think Cole Palmer will be one heck of a player that is at Chelsea hands. And I think it's fantastic. He will really bring a whole lot of positives into the Chelsea squad.
Okay, don't forget Chelsea will be playing on Sunday against Aston Villa. They are not competing in the Champions League. Lot of rest, a possible lot of rest to actually lose a game on Sunday, or possibly play a draw on Sunday, like we've always seen from Chelsea. And that's another opportunity for Manchester City with that big fourth goal.
That's the young lad.
That was the young lad talking about Bob there, who actually replaced Foden. And talking about Manchester City substitutions in this game, Bob came in for Foden, while Calvin Phillips actually replaced Rodri in this game. Diaz was withdrawn for Lewis. You know, these are the players for the future of Manchester City. Solomon, do you see them making a stake, or do you see them, you know, actually being the bedrock of Manchester City for future, or they'll actually be sold at a point, you know, for the established players?
Of course. We've seen it in the past. We've seen so many of the young lads, you know, from introduced by Guardiola, you know, gradually taking over. And you know, Guardiola, we always get the best. You know, he has his style of choosing players. He doesn't just choose players with football on their leg, but he chooses players that has the mentality, you know, that thinks very well, you know. And for him to bring Bobs and the likes of Phillips Calvin and the rest of them, definitely is building a future for Manchester City, and definitely we get a good future.
Okay, the future is actually very much bright for this young talent. Let's see what they can actually make of it. It's the 86th minute already. Various encounters in various centers in Europe. It is still Feyenoord 2, Celtic 0. And talking about the game between Lazio and Atletico Madrid, this is Atletico Madrid who are still leading 1-0 late into that game. 86 minutes already in that encounter, and an encounter between PSG and Dortmund is PSG 2, Dortmund 0. Manchester City are 3-1 up against Red Star Belgrade, while Barcelona are still 5 goals up against Royal Antwerp. While the game between Shaka and Porto, that game is in the 88th minute already. It's Porto who are leading 3-1, while the game between Barcelona and Antwerp is in the 89th minute, approaching the 90th minute. It's looking like there's no comeback for anybody. But on our screens right now, Red Star Brigade has a free kick in a very dangerous position. Let's see if this is going to threaten Manchester City, and going in for a deep one. But Manchester City were able to clear their lines, and you can see the young talents who are here to make the name for themselves. They went on a blazing for a counter, but Red Star Brigade were able to clear their lines, and that is Peter Olainka on the ball, and he chooses to take it slow. And let's see if there's going to be if that will be a chance for Red Star Brigade, who chooses to go back into the midfield and try to, operate and see if they can cut open the Manchester City defense. And that is Peter Olainka on the ball, and go straight to his man, but Manchester City defenders were able to clear that out, and it is Jeremy Doku who actually been losing that out for a Manchester City throw-in. 87 minutes of action being seen already in that game. We are approaching the 88th minute. It is still Manchester City who are leading there 3-1, and straight to some of the match statistics. Manchester City have the better share of ball possession with 79% of ball possession, and they've actually reduced Red Star Brigade to 21% of ball possession. Total shots in this game, Manchester City have seen 37 shots in this game, while Red Star Brigade have seen just 3. Manchester City has 16 shots on target, Red Star Brigade 2, while Manchester City have 11 shots off target, Red Star Brigade has just 1 shot off target. Straight to the big chances created, Manchester City have created 7 big chances, while Red Star Brigade have created just 1. And the passes completed in this game, Manchester City have completed 698 passes, while Red Star Brigade have completed just 192 passes in this game. Looking at the reflection, looking at the statistics, is it a true reflection or a true reflective of this game to you guys?
Of course, it's a true reflection of what is actually happening. Barcelona have actually dominated the play. Manchester City have actually dominated the play. We saw that in the first half. The first half, we are actually in charge of the game. Zvezda, we are only waiting for an opportunity of a counter to go against the Barcelona side. Barcelona will play right, left, pass the ball, toss the ball around, and the Zvezda will just be waiting. But at the end of the day, after winning the first half, Barcelona were able to get goals. It's just unfortunate that Erling Haaland have not gotten his goal, and that is one of the reasons why he's still in the field right now. Because I'm very sure Guardiola will be looking for a way to substitute him. So, and if you look at it in the last 20 minutes to the end of the game, they've been playing, trying to create chance for Haaland to score. When they were all complete on the field, it was for everybody to score. But now it's like they know they've won it. He brought in younger players, and now everybody now focusing on Erling Haaland to get his own goal, but he has not been able to get it. Let's see maybe before the end of the match if he can get a goal here today.
Okay, let's see if Erling Haaland can still get a goal. It's the first day of the Champions League. And don't forget, we've seen results in some centers which have actually ended. Manchester up. AC Milan and Newcastle actually played 0-0. Newcastle returned to the Champions League, while Red Star Brigade were 3-1 victorious over Young Boys. They actually took them like the Young Boys today. And straight to the game between Barcelona and Antwerp. We are in additional minutes already, and that game is still Barcelona 5, Antwerp 0. While Manchester City and Red Star Brigade have seen 4 more minutes added into this game. 90 minutes of regulation time have been played. We are into 4 minutes additional time. Let's see if Erling Haaland will be adding the 4th goal, or if Manchester City will be getting the 4th goal in this encounter. Looking at various results, looking at the numbers we've seen in these games, the only draw we've seen in this encounter, talking about game 1, is from the game between Newcastle and AC Milan. We're not in the studio to talk about that game, but I want you guys to quickly give me your opinion or your take on that match.
It's a very good result for Newcastle, and I know a lot of people will not expect that, but I expected them to get a point in San Siro. And they actually did that. AC Milan have actually built their team. It's not like the one we saw last season, the last Champions League, and they were not having bite in the last Champions League. That was one of those things that made them not to win. But now they've bought a lot of players. We've even Chukwueze is also there, and a lot of players are there. So we expect to see them to do well. And kudos to Newcastle for keeping a clean sheet there and also picking a point now away from home. So when they get back home, I think just a goal will be enough to do the difference and get that maximum 3 point.
Okay, goal will be very much enough to do the difference for AC Milan. Straight to you, Yemi. You know, we saw 0-0 against Newcastle and AC Milan. I want you to give me your take on that game. You know, what do you think Newcastle need to do to actually make it out of that group?
Yeah, you know, going to Giuseppe Meazza, some like to call it San Siro, to get a draw is no mean feat. AC Milan is the second most successful team in the UEFA Champions League, so that says a lot. So going to their home ground and getting a vital 1 point is one step in the right direction. And when you get that, you just have to make sure that when you are back home, you do the needful also at your own backyard and make sure that you get something positive from your own result. And I think they have started the Champions League on a good note, and I think they can actually grow into the tournament.
Okay, it's full time in the game between Barcelona and Real Antwerp. That game ended 5-0, and we have another goal in the game between Feyenoord and Celtic. It's Feyenoord who are currently 3 goals up in 90+ minutes. Lazio are still losing 1-0 against Atletico Madrid in 90+ minutes, while PSG will be fancy taking this 2-0 victory over Dortmund. 90+ minutes in all centers in Europe right now, and any moment from now, every centers will be going to an end. You know, a lot of goals on the first day. We've seen fantastic number of goals. We've seen good numbers of goals. Kylian Mbappe was amongst the goal scorers. You know, now has 41 goals in Champions League, and it's looking like the numbers are actually dropping. Like I asked you guys during the break, you see these boys, this new talent, talking about Kylian Mbappe and Haaland breaking that record anytime or soon, or before the end of their career.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Anything is possible. I think they can do it. All they just need to do is just get their hearts in order, get to the right team, right support system, let them build the team around them, and they can actually get a shot at it.
Okay, anything is possible in the game of football, but one thing that is not possible tonight is Red Star Brigade, you know, bringing their stars tonight to get 2 goals against Manchester City with less than 1 minute to go in this encounter. That is never going to happen. We've seen 3 minutes plus of extra time being played already. Any moment from now, we'll be expecting. We are 10 seconds away from hitting the 4 minutes mark. And any point from now, we'll be expecting the referee to give us the final whistle in this game. You know, it has actually been an epic game, and this final whistle in that game between Manchester City and Red Star Brigade is Manchester City, who came from 1 goal behind to win this game 3-1. You know, it takes 3 second half goals. 2 goals from Julian Alvarez in the second half, and 3 goals were enough for Manchester City to come back to win this encounter. Looking at the comeback from Manchester City, and the 3rd goal was scored by Rodri with that assist from Foden. Good result for Manchester City starting this game. And looking at their group, they are now tied on 3 points with RB Leipzig. You know, these are 2 teams everybody expects to actually make it out of this group.
Yeah, expectedly, I think it will be the group that Man City will easily dominate and top the group, and closely followed by Leipzig. And I think the challenge will start from the second round.
Okay, the Feyenoord 3rd goal has actually been chalked up by VAR, and still Feyenoord 2, Celtic 0. And Lazio has scored a late equalizer against Atletico Madrid in the 90+ minutes. It is Lazio 1, Atletico Madrid 1, and straight to Group F, where we have Newcastle and AC Milan played out a 0-0 draw. And also in 90+ minutes, we have PSG, who are currently leading 2-0 against Dortmund. In Group G, we've seen the 2 matches already been played today. Young Boys lost 1-3 against Leipzig, while Manchester City were 3-1 victor over Red Star Brigade. In Group H, we've seen the 2 encounters also finished in that group. Barcelona defeated Royal Antwerp 5-0, while Schalke lost at home 1-3 against Porto. You know, good results today. Everybody will be looking forward to the it's final whistle already in the game between Lazio and Atletico Madrid. That game ended 1-1. You know, late result, late goal for Lazio against Atletico Madrid.
No, I think that would have been the only, you know, apart from Porto.
We have 2 draws.
Two away win, Leipzig away win, Porto away win, and that would have been the third away win. But Lazio was we are up to up to the task, and they equalized at the end of the.
And we have another goal talking about the game between PSG and Dortmund. It's now 3-0 in that encounter. PSG has scored the third goal in that game. Fantastic. 3 second-half goals for PSG also in this game, just like Manchester City actually did. Just to see PSG competing for this UEFA Champions League this year.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening. When you play a struggle like this against Dortmund, I don't see that happening. It seems the third goal is not standing. I think it's still too new.
Okay, still too new. I think there was a VR check there, and that has been cancelled out. Final take from you guys on today's matches.
Yeah, fantastic match, across Europe, beautiful matches, sweet ones, and this is why it is Champions League. And this is where you get the best of football, best of club football when we talk about the Champions League. In fact, it has actually lived up to expectation. It has been spectacular, but I'm so much amazed with Barcelona. 5-0, that is to tell you they're back.
They are the biggest winners today.
They are the biggest winner today, that is to tell you that they are back. Apart from we saw it in the La Liga, how they were defeating back to back for a very long time. We've not seen that before, but they're back. And also we give it to PSG against all expectation. I never expected them because for me, I have not seen anything good about PSG, but they've been able to get maximum 3 points and a clean sheet in their own home. That is a good result for them. And Feyenoord defeated Celtic 2-0, but there was 2 yellow cards, 2 red cards against Celtic. Probably that was one of the reasons, because I see Celtic as one of those teams who can actually, stand against Feyenoord, but unfortunately, it is not. But another team, Manchester City, defending champion, they've started the game. They don't come again. They have started the game 3-1 against Zvezda. They can't say they are minor, because for you to be in the Champions League, that means you must have passed a lot of stages before you get to that Champions League. So for you to 3-1 is a very good one. So we expect to see more. We expect to see more matches tomorrow. But for now, I think it's a beautiful Tuesday.
Okay, straight to you, Yemi.
I think first off, starting with Barcelona, they've scored 10 goals in 2 matches now, and that's a good one. It seems the Barcelona we used to know that scored a lot of goals comfortably is back. Well, let's say 10 will confirm that position. And I think another one, Man City, good rally back. They came back from a goal down, winning 3-1, and that's a good one for them. I hope that they can continue on that note. And straight to the Feyenoord Celtic, 2 clubs that has had history, but trying to see if they can remake another history in the Champions League. And I think Feyenoord 2-0 deservedly. Lazio, Atletico Madrid, they shared the spells 1-1, and that's a beautiful result. Not bad coming away from the Metropolitano Stadium to get a 1-1 draw at Lazio. It's not bad. And when we look at it, PSG winning 2-0, that's a good one. And we hope they can build from that. But as far as I'm concerned, they are not one of the favorites for this season's Champions League. And to the other teams in the Champions League, a good first round of matches, match day 1 in Champions League. And it has lived up to expectation, and I think it's a fantastic one.
Okay, you can hear that from BME. I also think that's a fantastic one. 23 goals were scored on the first day of the Champions League, and don't forget to join us tomorrow. We have a big one talking about Bayern Munich against Manchester United. We'll be here in the studios to give you, analysis of that game, a watch-along analysis of those games, of the games coming ahead tomorrow. Join us tomorrow on Premier Sport Fan Centers. We'll be here to give you every beautiful analysis of those games. And it's a pleasure being in the studio with you guys tonight.
Thanks very much. It's a pleasure too.
And to our viewers, it's also a pleasure, hanging out with you guys for the last 1 hour, 30 minutes of this game. From me and my production crew, it is bye for now.